Greetings, welcome back to HM Live. This week we're doing our monthly leadership training. It almost seems that we've been doing more of that than not. As for the last few weeks we've done some things having to do with home missions, and really they're applicable to all of us, addressing the matter of the maze of church planning. What I'm going to talk about today fits, doesn't matter the size of your church. It also really is not simply applicable to the work of God. It's not just the church. A lot of what I think we miss in God's work has to do with the practical side of things. And we serve a very practical God. He's a God that in most instances is a God of common sense. The session I'm going to share with you today has to do with planning and executing. Planning and executing. This is a session that I've taught in a number of settings, including to the Home Missions Board of Directors. But I want to talk about just some practical things that can help you get stuff done in your church. And isn't that what it's all about, is getting stuff done. I am indebted to Tim Massengale and to the material he put together years ago with Total Church Growth. And those two manuals were a good investment for me. They worked. Everything that is there is not applicable to any of us, just as the various books I've written, probably none of it is just totally applicable to any, and you have to tweak and adjust and fix stuff. But I want to give credit. I want to give honor to Brother Massengale. And I also want to mention that those resources are still available through the Pentecostal Publishing House, and it, for me, was a good investment. So you may want to take a look at it online with the PPH bookstore, or you may want to take a look at it at General Conference. Now, planning is important. I read some years ago that the CEOs of major corporations should be spending 90% of their time thinking about and working toward activities that would be unfolding 5 years into the future. Now, I don't think that most of us, including me, including any and all of us here at World Evangelism Center, are thinking 5 years into the future. And the same is true in the vast majority of our local churches. But I also believe that in most instances, we are planning too close. It's upon us. In an ideal world, in your local church, there needs to be some sort of annual plan for every component of ministry that is happening there. Now, we don't live in an ideal world. There are a lot of things you can't plan for. There are a lot of unexpected things. But the truth of the matter is there's a lot that you can plan for. Regardless of the size of your church, Easter's coming next year. Have you given any thought to that service, or to the Christmas service, or to what you're going to do Thanksgiving week? I'm talking about these are things that are going to happen. They're going to happen. So what could you do? Part of this business of developing an annual plan involves brainstorming, and I'm not going to spend time just talking about how one goes about brainstorming and drawing in ideas. There's plenty of stuff available online for that. In this time, though, you need to be asking, this business of brainstorming, what do we want to get done? What is it that has to get accomplished? Who's going to be responsible for doing these things? Is what we're talking about doing going to make any lasting impact or difference? Okay, so here it is. You've got brainstorming. From the brainstorming process, you develop some semblance of an annual plan. The most effective of annual plans are going to give some specific goals and It could be, a goal can show up in one of three ways. A goal can be a numerical goal. It could be for Christmas of 2009, I'm going to contact 25 people, inviting them to be part of our Christmas service. People who I would not have, but I'm going to make this. This is my numerical goal. Well, it's easy to know whether or not you've succeeded with that. The second thing is a ministry improvement goal. For December 2009, we are going to improve the number of contacts. We are going to make contact with 150 people who we've never contacted, and this can be by mail, phone. I'm giving you examples of a ministry improvement goal. Third, it can be a date-based goal. By the midst of December, we will have the auditorium freshly and newly painted. Again, this is quality improvement. Now, what I'm trying to do here is to just show you how this is supposed to work, okay? Brainstorming. From the brainstorming process, there is an annual plan that includes some goals. Those goals, numerical, ministry improvement, are date-based. So, are you tracking with me? You got this. You've got a ministry's annual plan, you've got some goals, numerical, date-based, or quality improvement, that are going to move us toward accomplishing what it is that we are intended to accomplish. Very, very simple. Now, fulfilling the annual plan and accomplishing whatever your goal or objective is totally dependent on implementation. And we'll come back to that word. It's very key in just a moment. Where do we go from the point we're at now? We have an annual plan. We have some goals. What are we going to do to move ourselves? Well, in the business world, they use the term Gantt chart. As a pastor, we use the word stair steps. Here's the perfect example. From one side of my office to the other is perhaps, I don't know, 15, 20 feet at the most. I don't care, there's never been a day in my life, regardless of how athletic I might have been as a youngster, that I could make that leap in a single bound. But if you give me enough steps, and that's exactly what a Gantt chart is. It is a stair-step process toward accomplishing any meaningful goal. It is project management. Okay, Pastor, you decide that this Christmas we're going to have a service that's going to focus on our families for Christmas, and we're going to have we're going to begin creating a culture for Christmas for Christ. We're going to move our families. Okay, now if that's going to happen, you can't just announce it the week before and expect anything meaningful to take place. There has to be a step-by-step moving forward, starting all the way back in October, if you're going to really accomplish what it is that you want to accomplish. Does that make sense? Now, I'm not just using the example of Christmas for Christ to insist that you do that. Obviously, I don't have the leverage to insist that you do much, but I'm using that as an example that the same is true if you're talking about painting the building. There's not just one step to the project. It's true if you're raising funds for a particular thing. It's the stair steps. It's step by step. Here's what's got to be done before this gets done, before this gets done. Here's what this little Gantt chart, and again, when the webcast is over, go to Google, type in the word Gantt chart, and you'll have more information than what I can give you in the next few minutes. But it does three things.